In the quiet town of Ravenswood, nestled deep within the heart of New England, there lurked a chilling legend known as the Shadowed Bell Tower. This is a story about an incident that unfolded in the early 20th century and how a terrifying legend whispered in its aftermath became a horrifying reality. Ravenswood was a picturesque town, known for its historic charm and quaint bell tower that stood at the center of the town square. The legend that surrounded the bell tower spoke of an ancient curse dating back to the town's founding in the 1700s. The tale told of a shadowy figure known as the bell ringer who had once been a loyal townsman. He had, however, fallen victim to a tragic injustice and had been wrongly accused of a crime he did not commit. In his despair, he cursed the bell tower, vowing vengeance against the town that had betrayed him. For generations, the townspeople believed the legend was just a spooky tale to entertain children around campfires. However, in the winter of 1920, a series of events would plunge Ravenswood into a nightmare from which it would never fully awaken. It began with the discovery of an old diary in the town archives, shedding light on the wrongful accusations against the bell ringer. It was clear that an innocent man had suffered, and a sense of guilt settled over the town. The diary's entries described an ominous ritual to lift the curse, the ringing of the bell on the eve of a lunar eclipse. Skeptical but desperate to right the wrongs of the past, a group of townspeople decided to perform the ritual. On the fateful night of the lunar eclipse, a hushed crowd gathered in the town square. As the moon disappeared into the shadow of the earth, the bell began to toll. The echoes reverberated through the town, sending shivers down the spines of those who had gathered. Suddenly, an eerie mist enveloped the square, and the temperature dropped to bone-chilling levels. The crowd watched in terror as a shadowy figure emerged from the bell tower, its eyes burning with malevolence. It was the bell ringer summoned by the ritual. With a deafening shriek, the bell ringer unleashed his vengeance upon the town. Buildings crumbled, and the once charming streets were shrouded in darkness. The townspeople scattered, fleeing from the relentless entity. As the sun rose, the terror seemed to dissipate, but Ravenswood had been forever changed. The legend of the Shadowed Bell Tower had come true, and the curse had torn the town apart. To this day, Ravenswood stands as a haunting, abandoned relic, its bell tower forever shrouded in darkness. The chilling legend of the bell ringer serves as a chilling reminder that some tales are born from true despair, and that even legends can exact their revenge when the past is left unresolved. The Shadowed Bell Tower still tolls in the depths of the night, a somber echo of a town's darkest secrets.
In the heart of the American Southwest, where the deserts stretch to the horizon and secrets lie buried beneath the sands, there exists a chilling legend known as the Cursed Mirage. This is a story about an incident that unfolded in the late 19th century and how a terrifying legend whispered in its aftermath became a horrifying reality. In the late 1800s, a small desert town named Mirage Wells thrived on the edge of the unforgiving Mojave Desert. The legend that clung to the town was as old as the hills, speaking of an ancient curse that had haunted the land for centuries. The legend told of a Native American tribe, the Kavi, who had once inhabited the region. They were guardians of a mystical wellspring rumoured to hold the power of life and death. But when the first settlers arrived, in the late 1800s, the Kavi's sacred land was desecrated, and the wellspring's waters were diverted. In response, the Kavi shaman had cursed the land, vowing vengeance on anyone who disturbed their sacred waters. Their curse manifested in the form of a mirage that appeared only to those who sought to harm the land. In the spring of 1885, a group of opportunistic businessmen arrived in Mirage Wells with dreams of striking it rich. They planned to drain the wellspring to water their crops, ignoring the warnings of the townspeople about the curse. As they dug deep into the earth, the air grew thick with tension and the sky darkened with ominous storm clouds. It was then that the cursed mirage began to appear. A shimmering oasis materialized on the horizon, drawing the businessmen further into the desert. Dehydrated and delirious, they followed the Mirage's allure, believing it to be their salvation. But the Cursed Mirage was no saviour. It led them deeper into the merciless desert, where the scorching sun and biting sand took their toll. One by one, the businessmen succumbed to the harsh conditions, their remains swallowed by the unforgiving sands. As the last of the businessmen perished, the Cursed Mirage dissipated into the desert winds. Mirage Wells fell silent, the legend of the Cursed Mirage becoming a sombre tale told around campfires. Decades passed, and Mirage Wells became a ghost town, abandoned and forgotten. But in 1947, a group of treasure hunters arrived, lured by rumours of buried riches. Ignoring the legend, they began to dig near the ancient wellspring. As they unearthed the wellspring's sacred waters, the sky once again darkened and the Cursed Mirage reappeared. The treasure hunters followed its illusory promise, their faces etched with desperation. The Mirage led them deeper into the desert, where their thirst grew unbearable and their minds began to unravel. One by one, they met the same fate as the businessmen before them, their bones left to bleach beneath the relentless sun. The legend of the Cursed Mirage had come true once more, and Mirage Wells remained a forsaken land, haunted by the vengeful spirits of the Kavi tribe. To this day, the Cursed Mirage appears to those who seek to exploit the land, a chilling reminder that some legends are born from true wrath, and the past can exact its vengeance when desecrated. Mirage Wells remains a desolate testament to the price of greed in the unforgiving American desert.
The legend spoke of an ancient Native American burial ground, hidden deep within the Whispering Pines forest. The Cherokee tribe had once inhabited these lands, and they believed that the forest was a sacred resting place for their ancestors. They had warned the settlers never to disturb the burial grounds, but as greed knows no bounds, the warnings were soon forgotten. In 1890, a group of loggers arrived in Penneyville, lured by the promise of abundant timber. Disregarding the ominous legends, they set to work, felling the towering pine trees with relentless determination. As the loggers advanced deeper into the Whispering Pines forest, strange occurrences began to plague the community. Unexplained accidents befell the loggers, and eerie whispers echoed through the trees during the moonless nights. The townspeople grew anxious, fearing that they had awakened the spirits of the Cherokee ancestors. One fateful night, as the loggers celebrated their plentiful harvest, a dense fog descended upon the Whispering Pines. The air grew thick with tension, and the townspeople sensed an impending doom. The fog concealed the arrival of a spectral figure, an ethereal Cherokee warrior named Tsitsi Yai, whose anger and sorrow knew no bounds. He had been summoned from the afterlife by the desecration of his ancestors' resting place. Tsitsi's presence was palpable. He appeared before the loggers, his eyes filled with a fiery rage. With an otherworldly howl, he declared that the curse of the Whispering Pines would befall Pineyville. The very ground beneath the loggers' feet seemed to rebel against their presence. Trees uprooted themselves, forming grotesque shapes. A powerful storm erupted out of nowhere, unleashing a torrential downpour and fierce winds. The loggers were cast into chaos, their equipment destroyed and their camp reduced to rubble. Tsitsi's vengeful spirit pursued them relentlessly, causing accidents that left the loggers maimed or worse. Terrified, the loggers fled Pineville, leaving the Whispering Pines forest in eerie silence. The legend of the Whispering Pines curse had come true, and the forest had reclaimed its sacredness. To this day, Pineville remains abandoned, its forests overgrown with ancient pines. The Whispering Pines, The Whispering Pines Forest is said to still harbor the spirits of the Cherokee ancestors, their whispers haunting those who dare to venture too close. The Whispering Pines curse serves as a grim reminder that some legends are born from true terror, and that the spirits of the land can seek retribution when their sacred places are violated. The forests of the Appalachian Mountains continue to whisper their secrets to those who dare to listen.